Hello. This is the uh, EVDS 1600 interview section with Group 7. We are doing historic preservation, and today I'm actually going to be interviewing a student and a friend of mine, uh, Enrique Flores, who's going to be talking to us about his experience and sort of his thoughts and ideas. All right, hello,
Hello.
Enrique. You want to do your little introduction here?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Enrique Flores. I am a I am a student of U of M, studying, currently studying uh, to become an architecture.
All right, thanks. So we're going to be asking some questions, and you just gotta give your own thoughts about it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on historic preservation?
Historic preservation, I I think, is an amazing way to design structures, especially older ones, without having to destroy or reset the canvas, so to speak. Uh, it is the modernization of history. It is a style that is very easy to make mistakes in, especially if the designer didn't do their research. However, if done well, then you basically have a building or an area that not only respects its origins, but is unique because of it.
Hmm. And I know you already talked about it in the beginning, but what do you do in terms of architecture? Like you mentioned that you're in just general architecture, but do you have a certain like pathway that you're kind of focusing on as well?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I plan to go into interior design, uh, but yeah, I basically plan to go into interior design. I just got accepted into the faculty, so I'm already going to start my year one. But yeah, since I'm still a student, I still have a long way to go in terms of knowledge and experience in order to actually uh, succeed in the field or give that much worthwhile opinions. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. And given what you know about historic preservation, how would you include historic preservations in sites around the area, specifically the one that we have in Winnipeg, which is the Forks, and specifically the Forks Market?
from looking at it, I would one thing I would do is to I would take away the drop down lamps in the middle of the market, and I would replace them with a more simple but subtle lamps that don't take up that much space. Uh, I would do this because it'd be nice to have the upper part of the building more exposed, as it will reveal the balconies and the expansiveness of the building itself, which would remind people that this used to be a big train station, which is part of its history.
All right. And I know you said you're still a student and everything, just previously, but do you know of any site that you've worked on or want to work on that would use historic preservation?
Um, Sadly, I don't have any experience or of working on any sites yet, nor I'm like currently capable of doing so since I am still a student. But I would like to try my hand in at least one. One specifically is Hudson Bay, since it is up for
Like
renewing,
like redevelopment, yeah.
yeah, redevelopment, and I kind of want to try at least like give my 2 cents on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
it'd
right.
be like a really cool thing to do, I think.
Mm-hmm. And since we already asked that question, I probably don't need to ask the experiences you have in the architecture field. So I guess I can move on to do you think historic preservation should be used more often? And why do you think it should be used more often?
Uh, I Yes, I do believe historic preservation should be used more often, mostly because it provides a variety of very authentic visual experiences. But the best ones, I believe, provide provide a wholly different physical experience. Things like changing how one would navigate through a space or feel out a space. These physical experiences would help encourage people to engage with their surroundings more often, which would in turn create memorable experiences, which is very important in uh, designing buildings because you want people to remember, you want people to uh, think that this building is different from the rest. It has something special, and that's why I think people should use historic preservation more often.
Mm-hmm. And I guess in turn that also answers the question of, do you think there are benefits to historic preservation? Was there anything else you want to add that you think is beneficial to the idea of historic preservation, or do you think you already got everything there?
Uh, Apart from creating memories and like helping people remember uh, a building, which is like one of the benefits, there is a lot of inspiration that could be salvaged out of old structures, be it physically or historically, which would make it easier for architects to think of a design that makes sense and it's not just out there because you know because they need to have something designed for it. This one just like
It already has like that theme already surrounding it.
hmm
Yeah. Okay. And for the last question, how could the U of M promote slash better include accessibility for learning about historic preservation? So how do you think that the faculty of architecture in U of M can really show more about historic preservation?
For me, I would like to see more activities and projects that would require students to do more extensive research on either a building or an area before they would be allowed to design anything for it, since that is the core part of historic uh, designing for historic preservation. Because if you don't do your research or you don't have any experiences on that building or area's history, then designing for it would be a little bit hard, and it would probably lead to a lot of drama of people who are very attached to the history of that area
Mm-hmm.
or building. Another thing that U of M could do is provide optional trips slash meetups throughout the year. Uh, this would give students a first-hand experience walking uh, as they would get a chance to walk through buildings or areas that utilize historical preservation, gi- uh, giving them ideas, and it would also help if the people showing them around um would explain the little details on what were the designers thinking when they did this and that's in there.
Mm-hmm. All right. And that's all the questions I have for today. So thank you again, Enrique, for doing this interview with me.